What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Ptk Bl4m back in a building with another episode of the Shop Podcast. How is everybody doing this beautiful Saturday afternoon? Same time, same place. You guys are freaking amazing. We greatly appreciate you guys coming out, showing up, showing out. You guys have been doing phenomenal with the just essentially just coming out, viewing the show, retweeting the links, things like that. We greatly appreciate it. We are on episode 151. It has been an amazing year so far. So before I get to everybody, I just want to get this out the way first. I will be announcing the contest winner for the $50 Xbox Live gift card today on the show. It'll be at the end of the podcast. I already actually have the winner picked out. Essentially, it was a random drawing, so I already know who the winner is. But I will be announcing that at the end of the podcast. So stay locked, stay tuned. That way, just in case you are the winner, you'll be notified. So that's how we're going to do the actual contest. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and dive right into my guest. I got a very special first time guest on the show today, man. This man is, once again, me and him were talking pregame, and I found his channel going down a rabbit hole on Twitter. And my God, am I so happy that I found his channel. This man puts out phenomenal content. I make sure I put all of his information down in the link below in the description. You guys, please do me a favor. If you're a fan of the podcast here, please go check him out as well. He puts on a fantastic show, really high quality content. But I'll let him break that down for you guys and let you guys know where you can find him as well. So what's up, Lucas? How you doing today, brother? And Sipic Ghost, let everybody know where they can find you in the chat, man.
Man, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me along for the ride today on episode 151. Congrats on getting to 150.
Thank you.
That was absolutely amazing. I loved last week's show. But I host a weekly Xbox podcast that's a more analytical look and kind of celebrates the good in the industry. It's called the Xbox Expansion Pass. It's on all podcast services. And I occasionally do interviews from developers, engineers, and people who champion equality in gaming. People like Steven Spawn of Able Gamers I've had on various ID at Xbox developers. I had Stu Grubbs, who's the CEO and founder of Lightstream, and he's an engineer that works with a company that works with Mixer. And man, I love talking about games every week, and so the Xbox Expansion Pass, I'd love for you guys to check it out.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Once again, taking some time to hang out with us. Once again, guys, do me a favor. Matter of fact, fuck that. Forget it. Sorry. Do yourself a favor. Go check his content out. Sorry, because it is amazing. And you guys know I only endorse really good content. So please do me a favor. Go check his stuff out. You guys will not be dissatisfied at all. You will be thoroughly satisfied, I promise. So do me a favor and go do that. So now on to my three compadres. No problem at all, brother. Now on to my three compadres. We'll start with Mr. Staggerilla. He was not here last week, so there was a gaping hole on the podcast last week. I'm sure the humor was a little low, so we got to bring the humor back up to its normal level. So we got Stag back on this week. So what's going on with you, Stag? How you feeling today, brother?
Doing all right. I mean, I hear you endorse quality content, and yet you still have me on the show. So it's kind of like, well, whatever. But it's good to be back after, I don't know, I kind of took an extended hiatus. I had a lot of family stuff going on. I jumped in one show a couple weeks ago for about 15 minutes. But, it's good to be back. Good to have the guest on. Yeah, man, I don't really have a lot to say. I'm just happy to be here, talk the shit like we always do, and have some fun.
Let's get it. Not a problem, brother. Let's keep moving. So next, once again, Centurion. Appreciate you being on the show as well, man. Let everybody know what's going on with you. We waiting on the videos, man. We need the heat. We need the heat from you, man. So hopefully we're gonna get some videos out from you. But how you been this week, brother?
I'm doing awesome, and I did release a video. Glad you noticed.
I know, right? Tell me about it. But I didn't see. I don't hit the notification bell, unfortunately, so I need to go ahead and do that on your channel, so I'm aware when you're dropping the video. So I will do that.
I know my place now. I know my place. I'm sorry. No, I finally got a chance to do a video. I'm getting back on the grind. It's been long enough. I've been working way too much, and I kind of drew the line. So therefore, yeah, my first video, I decided to kind of tackle that interview I got to do back in December with Thomas Mahler over at Moon Studios on Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I thought it'd be a good time because everybody's talking about Ori right now. And I thought I'd let everybody know about some of the things that he told me that he would told me and the guys over at TXR about what he was changing, the same direction. It was a great interview. I mean, it was just awesome listening to him. I mean, for a guy that got into the industry studying by being a a sculptor. He's basically a trained sculptor from art school, but he got into doing models for gaming, and now here he is being the game director for one of the games that is coming out in 2020. And it's not like he went to school to study for video games. He's kind of like self-taught almost.
Nice, awesome. So we're looking forward to that content. So
But
once again, check that video out. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you
oh
off.
no, I was just gonna say. But other than that, I'm doing great, man. Just been playing some games. Can't wait for the Division update, and I got to play the Division with you.
Okay, we down for that, man. You already know I'm on board with that. Me and Fuzz all day, every day, brother. So last
One
but
of these
not
days,
least,
Stag might put down an indie game and join us for a AAA or something. I don't know.
well, we'll see. See, that's not happening. See, we shooting high. We got to
I
start
don't
low.
even play. I don't even play with my own community. Come on now.
But either way, last but not least, Mr. Barry Ross, Fuzzy Belvedere, man, what's going on with you, bro? Before we get started,
Not much. Glad to be here. Glad we have a special guest on here as well. And yeah, some interesting news here these past couple of weeks. So ready to get into these topics. Let's get it.
let's get it. Let's dive right in. Once again, guys, hit the like button on your way in. Hit the subscribe button as well. Appreciate you guys' continued support here on the podcast, on the channel. You guys have been freaking amazing. Let's continue to push. Do what we do. The show's going to get better every single week, man. You guys have been amazing. So let's dive right in. So you know how we start the show. If you're new here, we do the poll of the week every single Monday. Follow me on Twitter if you're not. Go follow me on Twitter. All of the information down in the description. So every Monday on Twitter, I pull up a poll of the week, and we talk about it here on the Shop Podcast every Saturday. So the poll of the week this week was, with the Series X specs being officially announced, what feature are you most excited about? And I picked a couple different features. There's more, obviously, but these are just the ones I chose. So we had quick resume, smart delivery, 120 FPS support, and then back compat. So it was actually pretty close between the options. The 120 FPS support actually won with 32% of the votes. Smart delivery was second with 30, and quick resume was third with 20%, and then back compat was actually last at 17%. So we're gonna start with you on this one, Insipid. I know you voted on the poll. You saw the poll a little bit late, but you did vote on the poll. So out of those four options, which one do you think, for you specifically, is the most important feature going forward?
Going forward, the most important feature I chose was smart delivery. In fact, I was surprised to see 120 frames per second was the winning option, given that quick resume and smart delivery were kind of my two top tier aspects. I love the idea of smart delivery because it saves my wallet, just like Game Pass and so many of the Xbox initiatives. It saves my wallet going forward, and that developers can opt in, and whatever version I have at any given time will upscale into Series X version. That to me is super important because I'm a budget gamer. I need my money to travel far with me and give me as much value to dollar as possible. So smart delivery was my jam in that poll, with quick resume being a very close second.
Okay. I think I like that. I like that choice as well. I didn't really know what smart delivery was. Then I had to actually read up on it. I'm like, okay, that's what smart delivery is, and it's a very, very consumer friendly option. I love the fact that, I don't know if you caught it as well, Incipient, but CD Projekt Red, right after they announced that, came out and said, hey, we're on board. So if you're purchasing Cyberpunk 2077, you will not have to repurchase that, specifically on the Series X. Now, I don't know what's going on the PlayStation side, but that's exactly what we're looking for in the feature. And what's cool about it too is that a company like, as big as CD Projekt Red is, jumping on board, it puts pressure on other developers too to do the same thing. So I like the fact that they came out, were very vocal about this being a great idea. So what would you say about that specifically as well, about them jumping on board?
It's fantastic to see and to hear, because when you look at CD Projekt Red, when they did The Witcher 3, they had something like 17 free DLCs to drop with their game. They even included a note in the physical editions, thank you for buying our game. And how many different aspects of The Witcher 3 were emulated and recreated into different games after that fact. And that was a Game of the Year caliber thing. And for them to say with Cyberpunk, hey, we're going to do this, you shouldn't have to rebuy a game, that only generates goodwill. It does put pressure on a lot of major developers, a lot of major publishers, more importantly, to bring that same level of fan service, that same level of customer support going forward. And I wonder if the EAs, the Activisions, will get on board, but you have to think anybody under that tier is almost pigeonholed into it. Well, we got to do this. Otherwise, the narrative is we did not do
True.
the smart delivery. We did not support our fans traveling forward. So I thought CD Projekt Red came out with a banger on that one, and more power to them. That only helps us.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. I like that. So good breakdown.
Wait. Xbox has bangers? Sorry.
Look.
I couldn't pass that up.
Yeah, you
Wait a
listen
minute, we're gonna
internet.
start this again.
Yeah, always.
So just because you spoke up, Stag, we're gonna go with you
Oh,
next
shit.
anyway. See, you painted yourself in a corner. No, but either way, I know you voted on the poll in the comment section. Didn't actually vote but in the comment section.
Yeah.
You voted. But either way, about those 4 options that I chose, essentially, which one of those is the most intriguing for you going forward, and just which one are you the most excited about?
I mean, like, I didn't technically vote on any 4 of the options. I voted yes because I think they're all amazing options. I love the quick resume feature that we already have. You know, when I jump from a game that I'm in and I go to the dashboard and I look up something, and I can go right back to that game already. And I like the idea of it being multiple games now. Smart delivery is amazing, like our guest just touched on. I mean, like, obviously CD Projekt Red saying they're going to do it and offer it is going to hopefully get other developers to do the same thing. 120 FPS. I mean, your eye can only detect so much, in my opinion. I mean, and there's science to back that up. But for me, backwards compatibility would have been the thing that I would have chosen if you would have said, you have to pick one, Stagger. Because, I mean, I know that all of us have a huge backlog, and I would love to see more of my backlog be able to be used going forward, so I don't have to bust out, say, like my 360 that's just sitting on a shelf that is not plugged in, you know. And I know it's my understanding is it's just the games that they've already made backwards compatible, if I'm correct.
I believe so. I didn't hear about the entire library. I don't really.
Yeah, I'm just saying I would like to see it expanded more. I know there's things that, you know, that go along with that, with licensing, and everything was different back in the 360 and the Xbox OG era and stuff with how they do it now. So it's a little bit harder to bring everything forward, but it would be cool if they did that. So like, for me, backwards compatibility is a big thing because I love playing my old games on the newer systems given the chance. It's like not having to, like, you know, like I said, use my 360 considering the dashboard crashes and signs you out all the time. I don't know if anybody else has that problem, but I have for a couple years now while I'm using that. So that's what I would have picked, was backwards compatibility, but I love all the options. I love everything they said, which we'll talk about in a minute as well. So that's where I'm at.
Okay,
PC
cool.
and yes.
All right. So I was surprised too about the FPS support to 120 because, like you said, that's not really been a thing. I mean, it started out this generation, it was a thing. You know, when the power difference was kind of the narrative at that particular point, then people started jumping off of that on the FPS because of the power difference. They started throwing out frame rate, things like that. But I agree with you. I didn't think that would be something that people would state as being one of their top choices. So pretty interesting there. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Fuzz. Let's see, you know, what option did you choose and why did you choose that option?
I went with quick resume primarily because I like hopping from game to game. Like like I normally will play like Forza, or I'll play, you know, something else in the background, like lately Wolfenstein, Youngblood and stuff. And then I'll see you're on, and then it's like, all right, let's hop over to Division, so I can just quickly go over to Division and then play until like dinner time or something like that. And then when I come back, I can either hop back over to you know, Forza or whatever I was playing earlier, right where I left off. So having that ability, not having to worry about like, you know, save scumming, you know, type of deal, as far as always hitting the save button. It's just basically going to hold it in state for when you get back.
Yeah,
and that's awesome. I'm really looking forward to that.
Can anybody, just to kind of piggyback off of what you said, is that is every app that's going to be on the system as well as every game?
I think it's going to be for
quick resume.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as like you be able to use that feature with any app or game.
I'm not trying to jump in, Fuzzy, but I don't think it's gonna be on every game.
Okay.
Because the reason why is it's actually a feature that has to be built into the game. And let's look at the Outer Worlds. Obsidian didn't take advantage of that feature. You turn like the minute you turn your Xbox off, whether it's on instant on or turn it all the way off, it signs you right out of the game. You have to load back into the game when you play the Outer Worlds. The resume feature was not built into the game. That was something that I actually looked up because I was getting annoyed and wondering if my Xbox was doing it, and I found out that it was actually the game.
Okay.
And Centurion, I think that speaks to the idea of the type of game you're going to be working with, because the new feature, or the way the Xbox and Phil Spencer's notes describe it, multiple games can be suspended at the same time. But if it's any type of live service or connect to a server type thing, that's exactly, I think, what you're talking about. But if you're playing something local, it sounds like you're going to be okay. Does anyone else get that impression?
I got that impression, but if what do you call them? If Outer Worlds is having that issue where it's like as soon as you go to like the dashboard or something like that.
No, not to the dashboard. It's when you turn the console off.
Okay.
See, like when the console's on, it stores the game in the RAM or however it does it, and then you move around the menus and can do something else. But if you turn the console physically off, it will actually get you out of the game. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Live service games, like if you're using Destiny, The Division, even Elder Scrolls Online, games like that where you're actually logged into a server, there is times it will log you out if you leave the game. Most of the time I've noticed if it's like 5 or 10 minutes, it will log you out of the game, especially if you like don't go back to the actual game screen in like 5 or 10 minutes. At least now.
So is that about what you were talking about, Insipid? Is that pretty much in line with?
Yeah, that seems to line up almost exactly with what I was thinking would be kind of what would hang up on anybody that can't quick resume on certain types of games. But in my mind, this is what I get. If I'm playing, most recently Darksiders Genesis, and my buddies message me and say, hey, we're playing Battlefront 2, I can just suspend Darksiders, go play Battlefront 2, and because it's a single player, jump right back to where I was. That is so exciting to me. And the idea I can do that with multiple games, that means running downstairs to grab a drink, or if I just, got to go, dog's barking, boom, pop it down, and then I'm back there. What'll be interesting to me with Quick Resume is if later on, xCloud lets me pick up at that same spot. That's what is that a potential for the future? That'd be a neat thing, because then you have Stadia-esque promises executed in real time on Xbox.
I forget what I was listening to or who I was watching, forgive me, but they were actually saying when they watched a demo of the game Resume, he actually cold booted the system and it resumed the game. The only way game Resume works right now is if you use the instant on feature to the Xbox One, because the Xbox One doesn't fully power down. From what I read, the person who watched some kind of demo on it, he fully powered it down and cold booted the Xbox Series X, and it picked up right where the game had left off. And it updated. It even updated, and it still resumed the game.
That'd be something. That'd be crazy. Now, I don't want to cut you off, Fuzz, because I know you didn't really get a chance to finish here.
Sorry, Fuzz.
No, you're good.
No, you guys are good.
Yeah.
No, those are all good points, because I would really like to see that Quick Resume rolled into the xCloud type of thing, where it's like on the go type of deal. It's like, all right, I gotta get ready for work. I'm getting a ride to work or something like that. I can just pick up where I left off on my phone type of thing. Or, if I'm driving to work, put the phone in the car, and then on my lunch break, pick up where I left off type of deal. So that would be the coup de grace, I guess you could say, if they have that, piggybacked with the Quick Resume. But that's all I have for that.
And I think the key here, everybody, and if you listen to chat, the key here is that the possibilities with these options are crazy. And I think that's what we need to grasp here, is that the possibilities. Now, we just had a specific topic, and we just expanded on that in this short period of time. I'm sure Xbox has already thought of things like that. Well, what if we tie this in with xCloud and allow them to stop and start the game, stop it on the home console, then, pick it up on their, on their phone at work and finish off where they're at. So things like that are possible, or going to be possible as time goes by. So I think this is an extremely exciting time for all of us as gamers. So we all should be really happy about that. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. And once again, if you're here first time, second time, third time, whatever the case may be,
do I not get to say what I voted on?
Did I?
He talked.
No.
I'm sorry.
He didn't get to him.
I'm sorry. I do
Oh my God! I know.
No. It's because I apologize. Go ahead, Centurion. Let's go ahead.
I know I'm the new guy, but geez.
Let's get your opinion, Centurion. I just think it threw me off as we were kind of going back and forth.
No, you're all good.
Go ahead, Centurion.
I was just going to say I'm actually right there with Stagger on all the idea on basically wanting that option of all of the above, but I will definitely say 120 frames a second sounds great, but it is last on my list purely because console gamers are just now being exposed to 60 frames a second. I don't see all of a sudden every game designer and their grandmother trying to hit that 120 mark. I really feel like 60 is going to be at least the average as we're getting started, and then we'll start seeing some titles that'll ramp that up. But for me, I'm glad for backwards compatibility. I don't got to worry about my game library becoming obsolete. But the other features, that game resume, and oh my god, you put too many on here. And the smart delivery. I know what smart delivery is. I think it's really cool. Like Lucas said, that it's going to save you money. The fact that you're not being charged for these patches. The funny thing is, though, I like how Microsoft passed the buck on that situation. They're coming out saying, well, we mandated all our first party studios to do this, and Cyberpunk hopped on that saying, well, we're going to do it too. It kind of puts it on the developer, and it will make them look bad if they don't do this, and it totally kind of relieves Microsoft of that whole situation.
Got it out the way earlier. Say, hey, look, we're on your side, consumers. We're on your side. Let's. This is what we're doing. So now I agree with you in that point. Go ahead. I'm going to cut you
No,
off.
it's all good. No, like we all had a great conversation about it, man.
Okay.
Everybody's hyped.
Cool.
Aren't we glad Microsoft finally released some specs so that way all the rumors and myths can slow down?
Oh, we're gonna dive a little bit more into those as the show goes on, but now I feel you. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic, everybody. So next topic we're talking about is going to be the new dashboard update. Now this is something that just recently happened for some people. Some people, if you're in the preview program, you've had it for a month or two at this particular point. I know my wife was. She had it for a little while, and I just recently got it. So just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about that, see how everybody's opinions is, who has it already, who hasn't gotten it. And I kind of want to piggyback off of that as well. Now that we're getting this update, now obviously I'm thinking going forward the UI is going to be completely different. So what would you guys want to see out of a brand new UI when you open up or start your Series X? So we're gonna start with you again, Insipid. Have you even thought about that at all? First question about the new update and the dashboard. Second question just about what would you like to see as far as out of a UI going forward on like the Series X.
Straight up, I love the new UI. I think this entire generation, we've seen Microsoft working to make amends for its initial very frustrating UI all the way through to now and its various iterations. What I like most about this new UI at the moment is how fast it is.
Oh, man.
And that speaks to everything that we've seen about Series X and to what currently is in operation with our 1S and 1X systems, in that it is all small quality of life things that build to a wonderful experience. And this new UI does that. I also think this is the way they implemented it is in preparation for the Xbox Series X. And to your question about what I would want to see going forward, right now it seems like advertisement space is a lot less intrusive than it once was.
That's a good point.
And I want to see that continue. I like the idea that algorithms and whatnot will tailor ads to me in a certain extent if I am to get them. But in the current generation, the current version that we have just now dropped, I don't feel like any ad is in my face. I like that. But I don't have the mind for building and designing UI. That my brain just does not function that way. But I can tell you this, I'm so much happier with the way it is now than I was a week ago. And I wasn't worried a week ago. And that tells me that there are good people, smart people in charge of taking it in the right direction.
Absolutely. Great point. And this is funny. The funny thing about this is that if you're an Xbox guy, we should be used to this. We get about 5 to 6 UI updates or dashboard updates every single generation at the very least. I think this is number at least 3 or 4 this generation so far. And every single one's gotten a little bit better over a period of time now. And that struck me the first thing, besides obviously the way it looks. The way it looks isn't that strikingly different than the way it looked like a week or two ago. But the speed, the snappiness, the responsiveness of the actual dashboard is something that I know Xbox is working their way towards. They always looking at optimization is kind of a key thing for them. So I'm really happy about that. And you're right. That was the very first thing I noticed. I even put out a tweet about it because I was like, holy shit, I hit like the A button to go into the games and apps and it instantly went there. I'm like, what is going on? I'm usually you hit the button, go to the bathroom, come back. It's still loading the games, things like that. So it's kind of nice that it is very, very snappy. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Stag. What's your feelings about the new update, as well as what would you like to see from the UI come to Series X?
Okay, so I've had it for a while. I mean, I'm in the preview programs. So like honestly, when you guys all got it, I was like, "What? Oh, yeah, cool, right on." I have I'm one of those people that's easily adapted to change when it comes to the UIs, and they don't bug me. And I see all these people freaking out. It's like one of my favorite websites revamped their entire website and changed everything, and everybody freaked out because people, get upset about change. So I've seen some people freaking out about specifically this UI. I saw a friend freaking out about how like the Game Pass games are all listed now, and she couldn't break it down to certain ways. And I was just like, whatever. It doesn't bother me. What bothers me the most about it's been my biggest problem since we moved from the 360 to the Xbox One dashboard UIs is you cannot alphabetize the store. It drives me absolutely insane.
Yeah, that's a small change that would need to
Dude, seriously, like you can filter by so many different things. I love I'm just gonna say before we go forward with my rant, I love the UI. I think it's great. It works wonderfully and I enjoy it. But I want to alphabetize the store. I don't care what's brand. I mean, it's nice to know what's brand new. It's nice to know what's on sale. It's nice to know what everybody else likes. But I'm like 42 years old. Like I'm a big fan of alphabetical and numerical numbers and like shit being in order. I want to see what's in the A. I mean, you can do your own games, which is great, and I'm glad I can do that. Like after I buy a game, I can alphabetize my catalog. But my biggest complaint is not being able to alphabetize the entire catalog in the store and go through A through Z and buy that way. So I would love to see them implement that feature. And every time they ask me in like their little surveys that pop up on my Xbox, or if I get one in email, that is the one thing I say every freaking time is, can I alphabetize the store?
It's a small feature, but something that I mean, I didn't even know you couldn't do that. That's how much I didn't think about it, because it seems logical that you got thousands of games that they give you an option to do that. Now I understand they do give you a
they don't want you to have that option.
They do give you,
it's a clear cut. They don't want you to have that option. They want you to view it in a very certain way of new, top sales, and most popular. They push an agenda with their game selection.
It's a supermarket strategy kind of deal.
It's kind of like Steam and the other storefronts on PC. You're paying for those top spots.
I get it, but
they're selling. That's you got to remember that's Microsoft's retail space on that store, and the developers are paying for those retail spots, and depending on being on the top, in the middle, down at the bottom, it negates how much you're going to probably pay for that spot.
I'm fine with them having it set up a certain way, but like in the extra, there's a regular filters category, and then there's all these other ones, and then there's like even more.
No,
like, hide that motherfucker in there and let me find it. Like just let me do it. Like
I'm just saying, like something you got to click on to make it happen.
Yeah, like just let me have that option. Even if I gotta go like 7 extra clicks to do it, I will do it.
Okay, I mean it seems pretty logical. It doesn't seem like a too big of a stretch to ask for.
No, but that's all I want.
Yeah, not that big of a deal. Okay, cool, not a problem. Let's throw this over to you, Fuzz. About the new dashboard. Obviously, I know me and you got it literally at the same time. And what do you think about the new dashboard, first of all, as well as what would you like to see from the upcoming dashboard for the Series X?
Pretty happy with it so far. The biggest thing, having like 200 plus games, plus Game Pass games and EA access, everything loads a lot faster. It used to be a pain in the butt trying to, search through some of the games. Like if I want to pick a particular game and it's not one I have in my backlog listing or I have in some sort of group, it just makes it so much easier to go through what I already have, type of thing.
Fuzz nailed it. I totally agree. That same thing happened to me, man. Not the first day that we got the dashboard update, and Fuzz, right with you, tried to pull something from my backlog lightning fast. So I totally agree with you.
Yeah, that's like the biggest highlight for me as far as this update. As far as any changes or anything I'd like to see in the new one, it's kind of hard to say. Like, I almost want to say like we have like that social section. I would almost want it more integrated with Twitter. So if I'm posting a picture to Twitter, it shows in the feed type of thing. I don't know if that's a necessary thing. It's not that big of a deal, but I'm pretty happy the way things are right now. Like about the only other thing might be like a picture-in-picture thing, but they got rid of that long ago.
Yeah,
but that would only be necessary if I'm in a game and I'm trying to watch, like, okay, where's this map located? But I have my laptop in my gaming room, so I can just put the YouTube video on that while I'm actually gaming. So that I don't think there's anything really for me anyway to change. But I do agree with Stag on the having it alphabetized would be a nice feature considering
Yeah.
if you're just searching
just
for
a
that game
filter
and you know
option,
it
yeah.
starts with like okay, it's like not saying okay will Yakuza's on Game Pass, but it's like all right, you know it starts with a Y. I want to just search everything that's in Y, and it's like you might wind up having to scroll up and down several times just to locate it, type of thing.
Mhm.
So
It just seems logical to me to have that as an option.
Yeah.
It's one of like the first and foremost things that anybody does when they're categorizing anything is like, well, let's put it in numerical or alphabetical order. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to.
no.
It's a sore subject with me. It really is.
That OCD kicking in today, boy. That thing hitting hard. But no, I feel you. It just for me, it's more of a like a logical option. You would think, given the
Yeah.
fact that there's so much different types of content on these boxes. You got movies, you got music, you got apps, you got games, you got all these different types of things, and being able to choose alphabetically seems just like it seems like a no-brainer to me. I didn't even. That's why I said I didn't realize.
I've
we
never
didn't
even
have
looked in the
option.
movies. I wonder if you can in the movie section.
Maybe I don't know. I'm not
Come on,
entirely.
I'm gonna look now. You guys keep talking.
Go ahead, Fuzz. I don't want to cut you off.
No, that's it. I mean, having it go through the catalog so much faster, that's the bee's knees. That's the biggest feature that I take away from this update. And as long as they continue that on the new console, I'll be extremely happy.
Got it. And Sip It, before we go over to Centurion, I wanted to did we get your did you mention anything about what you would like out of the new dashboard? If it was just any feature, if you had a choice of like any feature that you could add to the new dashboard, or
Nothing crazy, nothing grandiose. My mind just doesn't function that way. Typically, I see it, but I will tell you, Fuzz mentioned the bit like Twitter integration. I would imagine that you see something akin to that come to light as the Series X launches, because on the new system, one of the most underrated and most needed features on a modern system is that share button. I think that had a lot to do with PS4 so much. And Switch as well. Having a share button might emphasize the need for an easier sharing option in that dashboard somewhere. So that might actually serve his purpose once those new controllers are on the market.
I remember at one point we were able to like tag, add like tag or not tag, but link our Facebook with Xbox and things like that. I don't know if that's still obviously maybe still possible because we have the app here, but maybe we'll be able to link it straight to Twitter or link it straight to things like Instagram. And then, like you said, with having a dedicated share button, it drives the point home that we need these other features to for more people to use this button. So I think that's a great breakdown as well. So were you done, Fuzz? I don't want to cut you off.
Oh yeah.
I'm okay. Done. Cool. So Centurion, on you, brother, you got the floor. So new dashboard, what options do you like, or would just essentially what about it do you like, as well as the new dashboard going forward? What would you like to see out of it?
Well, I love the fact it's more responsive. It's snappy. I was surfing around on it. No longer waiting a million years for tiles to load. Oh my gosh, dude. I love shopping on the store. I got too many digital games. And sometimes when you're waiting for some of them to load, or the screen that pops up when you first get into one gets stuck halfway and you're waiting for it to load the rest of the way. Definitely a big fan of how responsive it is now. But now I got hooked into this conversation because we're talking about changes. We all know Microsoft is the company of options. I think the one option that would be really awesome for any UI, whether it's on the Xbox or different console, is to have the ability to do some customization, kind of make it yours. Have like about a couple 5 or 6 predetermined templates that will set the tiles in certain, because I understand that no matter what, they're going to want the tile system. So have like 5 or 6 predetermined templates for how the tiles will be arranged on the screen, and people can choose how they want it placed on their screen based on their preference.
You know what that reminds me of? And it's not a great memory, a Windows phone.
Oh, great.
I don't
Well,
know.
that's
I don't know
what.
why.
I
Like being
liked
able
my
to
Windows
customize.
phone
No,
until it
no.
died.
Windows phones were great. I'm just talking about the customizable tiles. Remind me of the older Windows phones. I don't know why. Just a bad memory. I don't know. I don't know why. But anyway,
Well,
go
I
ahead.
mean by the tiles because we all know they're gonna have the tile
Yeah.
for not Game Pass, games with gold. They're gonna have that tile for the game that's the disc that's in the system. Then you have tiles for apps that you just recently used and all that other stuff. You can just change those around based on your preference, but also have like some check boxes, like, oh, I want the mixer feed to show up and click that box, or I want the social feed to show up. Some people might not want their kids to have access to the store, so they can click a box and actually turn the store completely off, so that way they don't have to worry. Just the ability to kind of customize the Xbox based on the way you want it.
Yeah. Okay. So the only drawback to that, from my opinion, is that the more stuff you have moving around, you got to start thinking about speed. Now, when I know we're getting more, we were just talking about speed and snappiness, and I know we're getting beefier hardware, so it should be able to keep up. But I think the idea is they want to get this as snappy as they possibly can. So now
Well,
allowing
by
people,
turning some of those off, you would be essentially making the console more snappy. If
well,
it didn't have to load the social gaming page in the background because that was turned off, that theoretically
oh, okay.
would speed it
I
up.
see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Okay, so yeah, you turn on and off, like give access to certain ones, and then turn. Okay, I get what you're saying. So just to make it a little bit more custom. Now, what do you guys think about obviously backgrounds, things like that? You guys think that stuff still is a thing? Like anybody still want backgrounds, things like that?
Absolutely, yeah.
I love
Even
background.
dynamic themes on PlayStation are a pretty popular thing for that community. So I would think having the option certainly can't hurt. Again, you might sacrifice some snappiness and speed if you do incorporate it, but having the option doesn't seem to me to be damaging anything, and it only could generate goodwill or good vibes. And frankly, like when I'm into a series, I like to be surrounded by it. If I'm
Yeah.
playing Halo, I want Halo all over the place. I want it around me. I want the books. I want the comics. I want everything. And if I log in and see that screen, that's dope. I like that. So customization is an important and fun thing for a lot of people, and it's something that Sony is doing a good job on with their dynamic themes, and pre-order bonuses are included in those themes. Why not have something akin to that on the Microsoft platform?
So this is one more thing before we wrap up this particular topic. And I want each one of you to give a solid answer. Are we keeping the avatars or getting rid of the avatars this next
They're
generation?
staying.
So
Yeah.
this is preference for each individual. So we'll start with you, Stag. You said for if you had a choice, Stag, for you personally.
I think. I mean, I don't change mine up very much, but I think it gives you some individuality, and I think they're sticking around. I have a Halo toy for my avatar, actually. But,
Okay. All right.
but no, I think it's a. I think more dynamic dashboards would be cool, but I mean you can set your dashboard to an achievement you've unlocked, so that's kind of cool. But
I
like,
do that.
yeah,
I love doing that,
I like
especially
how
when
it
they've got a
shows the
very
game
low
you're
pop
playing
rating.
too. But I think avatars are definitely sticking around. I mean, it's one of the things they've kind of like shit. They make money off of it, for Christ's sakes. I mean,
Yeah, all
people
the
buy stuff. I
accessories
don't
and
buy
stuff.
stuff. I mean, I bought a couple things in the past, but I don't anymore, and I haven't really changed mine around. But I don't see why, if they're making any kind of money off of it, they'd get rid of it.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Insipid? Avies or no going forward, man?
I mean, I think they should absolutely have the avatars. They are currently an underutilized platform. It bothers me to no end that we don't see games incorporate the avatars, given all the effort they
One
put
versus
into
100.
this.
They have had some, but not enough.
Not in the Avatar 2.0 phase, where they worked on building so many customizable, accessibility-based avatars in this new iteration. What a cool idea to have games that would incorporate your character.
Yeah.
It seems to me to be a wasted opportunity, or seemingly wasted opportunity, but it sounds like their focus and attention went to other more necessary things in this current one.
Yeah, we had some games last generation on the 360. I
Right.
was just saying 1 versus 100 where you could use the avatars and they were actually part of the game. So little party games, things like that would be cool to be able to use them on. They feel more like, I guess, useful, I guess is what you're
Mhm.
saying. Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of untapped potential there. You're right. Now, Fuzz, Abby's or no going forward for you?
I kind of want to piggyback off of what Insipid is saying. When it comes to them being underutilized, it just seems like if we had like, not to copy Nintendo or anything like that, but have like a Forza Kart thing where you actually use your avatar, or
Yep.
like a card playing game, or even a boxing game. Like, I know I keep on talking about we need to have a boxing game. Even if you had a boxing game using your avatars, it would be kind of cool. But
Hmm.
they need to do something with them. Otherwise, I'm fine with just the user pick. But the avatar, somebody listening out there, hopefully at Xbox, try to put them into some sort of game, like even if it's a free game, just kind of in between games type of thing while you're doing updates. Yeah, just put them to use. I don't know.
Okay. All right. What about you, Centurion? Avies or no going forward, man?
Well, God, I feel like I'm gonna make Stagger mad. More madder than I
I'll yell at
probably
you
already
later.
made.
Don't worry.
Yeah. So I actually do not participate in the Xbox avatars. I did during the
That's
360 one. I built
discrimination,
an
man.
avatar. Huh?
This is discrimination.
I'm discriminating against Xbox avatars. Okay. No, but no, the reason why I don't participate in it is
Uh-huh.
actually because of what Ghost said. It's underutilized. I look at it. I understand it's a form of customization, but when you prefer to use things like my logo right here on my Xbox, that kind of takes the place of the avatar. And so I get, for me, it's very underutilized. I have never felt any desire to kind of build one again since the Xbox 360 era. I would like to see it survive because it's something unique to the Xbox brand. If they were to start creating games where you would have an avatar in there, heck yeah, I'd build an avatar. But that's where I just stand on it. I don't want to see it go away because I know there's people that enjoy it, like Stag,
Hmm.
but
I just
they
think it's
haven't.
cool.
No, it actually really is. That's why I'm saying it's unique. It's
Yeah.
definitely unique to the Xbox brand. You can dress it up, buy it accessories, a toy Halo car. Um,
I have a warthog.
Oh, you see, yeah, I've seen the Warhog.
Oh, wait, no, I think it's a banshee. It might be one
Get
of
it
the,
right.
I might actually have
Got the
both.
one
To
that
be
flies.
honest with
It's
you,
like I bought them both. But
yeah,
anyways,
I do. I'll buy anything Halo.
I miss Avatar Awards, just to throw that in there.
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah,
Oh, I
Avatar Awards
remember
that
back
those.
in
comes
the
a
Yeah.
lot with devs, though. They got to program that shit in. So
True.
see,
Good
people
point.
get T-shirts and stuff. Yeah,
that's what everybody like. That's what I mean. Everybody's talking about like back in the day when avatars were utilized and they were on 1 versus 100. They had the one where everybody could get together and watch movies with their avatars. They were a lot more utilized during that era than they are now, and I haven't seen anything yet that has made me want to go over and at least design one.
Yeah.
well,
And
and it's probably it was probably used less than you think it was, and it probably still is, and that's why they haven't pushed those things forward
Mhm.
because if only a certain sect of people are using them, sure, it's nice to have these options and we're not getting rid of it because people have bought stuff. But if it's not millions upon millions of people using these features, they're not going to create a lot
Yeah.
of content for it. It's
Yeah.
just
And
not, it costs money to do those things.
yeah, and that's how I'm looking at it as well. Just to give my 2 cents here and throw it in before we move on to the last topic. It's just for me, it's an out of sight, out of mind thing. I don't even see my avatar enough to like feel connected to it or feel like I haven't dressed it up in, like you said, it's probably been a couple years since I even looked at the avatar to put it clothes on or whatever the case may be. So I do wholeheartedly agree with you guys as far as utilizing an avatar. Make fun games out of it, like 1 versus 100. But like you said, it's a two-way street. Developers do, if that's something that we want, developers do have to see a need for that and like plug it into a game to be able to use it. So it's something that is kind of nice to have. I feel like if they got rid of them, I feel like there'd probably be a little bit of backlash, but not a lot of people would really even notice if they decided to like completely get rid of avatars altogether. I think it would come up that they were doing it and people would throw a big deal about it, but most people after like 2 or 3 days wouldn't even notice that the avatar was gone. And I just think that's how it is at this particular point. But a lot of potential there. It's great, like you said, it's very unique for the brand itself. No other platform really has that outside of, I think Nintendo has the Mii's, things like that. So very very unique. So let's go ahead and move on to the last topic of the show. You guys have been incredible. Once again, hit the like button. Appreciate all you guys watching live. Got a phenomenal guest once again. All that information is down in the description below. Go check him out. All his videos, podcasts, things like that. So let's go ahead and move on to the last topic. And the last topic, we're talking a little bit about Ori. And I know we talked about Ori a little bit earlier, or was alluded to earlier in the show. Now, this is kind of a twist on Ori as a role, because I do have a soft spot for Ori just from a standpoint of quality versus size versus what they were able to do at the size they were at. Ori is a fantastic, extremely high quality game, from graphics to sound to story to everything involved. It's like a Disney movie. I don't even think if you put Disney a Disney label on Ori, you couldn't even tell the difference. Like Ori is almost to me like a Disney type character. So can it be a tentpole franchise? Can Ori on its own stand alone and be big enough to hold up essentially like a platform like Halo does, like a Forza does? Can it get to that point? So we'll start with you, Insipid. I know it's kind of a left field kind of question, but looking at what Ori brings to the table, the critical acclaim it's gotten, it did sell extremely well. Now it's not doing Call of Duty numbers or anything like that, but it did sell extremely well. What do you think Xbox can do? Now they don't. Does Xbox own Ori? I believe they own the IP. Do they own the
I
IP?
believe the IP is that the IP is theirs, I believe.
During the interview with Thomas Mahler, he actually stated that he had to ask Xbox for permission to put Ori and the Blind Forest on the Switch.
Okay, cool. So they do own it. So starting with you, Insipid, do you think Ori, looking at it from where it's now, obviously we're getting this new one that's coming out, bigger, better game more than likely. Do you think Ori can be a bigger game, like a tentpole kind of game for a system?
No, I do not,
Okay.
and I'm fairly emphatic in my reasoning for it, and it's that simply the pressure that would come under fire for a game like Ori to be a tentpole franchise would do the service, the beauty, the art a disservice. People's expectations would not be in line with what that game is trying to deliver. I know I told you guys off air, I'm a middle school teacher by day, and I have used Ori and the Blind Forest in my classroom to teach mood and tone and nonverbal storytelling and generating emotions in an audience without any words whatsoever. And it's a beautiful, incredible franchise. It's an incredible game. It generates so many emotions in its people and in its people, those who play or watch it. But to be a tentpole franchise, you need to have several levels of marketability that come with it. And Ori doesn't lend itself to that. It does have a high difficulty curve that betrays its rather gorgeous aesthetic.
Appearance. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Not quite in the same way that Cuphead was, because I think we would say the same thing about Cuphead, but in a different way, or we would mean something different. I just don't think it has what it would need to in order to be what we would consider a tentpole franchise. But in no way does that detract from the game as it stands. It's just not meant to be that.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for Will of the Wisps. I'm nervous to play Will of the Wisps because Blind Forest was so hard. But I'm so excited for people to get their hands on it. And here, I wonder too, can you have a tentpole franchise when you are putting your games on multiple console systems? Forget the exclusivity argument. Yeah. That's the idea. If you're putting it on Switch, is it tentpole? And I guess I'll throw that to the next panelist on that one.
Got it. Okay, cool. Well, great breakdown. Like I said before, I think the key component that you touched on is that, or it's a very much complete game, but you if it was to be a tentpole, you think it would compromise some of the special things about Ori. I feel like that's kind of what you're saying. Like some of the very special things about Ori, the personal, because Ori, playing the game, you can tell the game was made with love and care. Just the feel, the time they put into the game. And I feel, I kind of agree with you on that point. I didn't think about it from that standpoint as well, that would detract from the game, just the overall like homeliness that the game provides, the connection with the character, and making it this huge open world kind of game would may take away from that. You'd have to probably build a completely brand new story, whatever the case may be. But okay, so we'll throw this over to you, Stag. Get your opinion on that. You think Ori can, or even have the potential to be kind of a tentpole franchise if it wanted to? No? Okay.
No. I don't think it has a broad enough appeal.
Okay.
I think it has a very loyal fan base and people who love that style of game, difficulty of game. It looks great. It's amazing. I play a wide variety of games and I don't like that game. So, and I get a lot of hate for the fact that I don't like Ori, and they're like, "What?" I'm like, it doesn't appeal to me. Sure, it looks great.
I'm out of here.
That,
I'm out of here, PTK.
Yeah, well,
I can't
man,
take
we're
the
fighting
sacker.
later because of the Avatar thing, anyway. So, no, I just I don't. I mean, but then it could in a way, but like he said, it's on other platforms, but in the sense of like Halo and Gears are tentpole games for the platform, but those games also don't appeal to a lot of people, but they appeal to more gamers than Ori does. I mean, you not only do you get the campaign aspect, but you've got we're gonna go Halo specifically. You've got campaign, you've got multiplayer, you've got the Forge, you've got the lore. I mean, some of you guys have seen my collection and the stuff. I mean, I've got books, I've got encyclopedia, I buy almost everything Halo. I mean, there's just Ori doesn't have that same level of stuff right now.
To play devil's advocate, you of all people. Now, you play a lot of indies. You play a lot of various different games. You play a ton of different games. Indies, AAAs, whatever the case may be, AAs. Now, Ori has its. So I understand where you're coming from in the traditional sense, because it does not look like Gears. It does not look like God of War, Uncharted, whatever. It does not feel like those games. But so if I change the question, say if Ori was on Nintendo, would that make sense for it to be a flagship game?
I think it would for that platform, yeah. I mean, I think it would fit their brand a little bit better as a tentpole flagship style game. I mean, I'm also not a huge fan of Metroidvanian style games.
Got it.
And that's very much Metroidvanian kind of a feel. So,
Stag, what about, do you think Metroid is, for Nintendo fans, is a tentpole franchise, even though it's well documented? Yeah, for them, it's well documented. Those games don't sell a lot. Some of my personal favorites. And then to tangentially relate to that, is Hellblade 2 set to be a tentpole franchise in the same vein? I mean, it's a similar conversation that we're raising here that comes with all of these games.
I mean, Metroid's kind of, to me, is similar to like the Star Fox series, where it's really big for Nintendo, but it has a very niche fan base.
I was gonna say, even within
it's
Nintendo,
not like your Mario or your Zelda, which have just like a broad appeal. Hellblade 2, I see as a potential launch title. Now, is it going to be a flagship tentpole for them? I don't know. I mean, like, Ninja Theory's throwing a lot of weight at those two games, obviously, but how far does that story go? I mean, like God of War, like it keeps going and going, and that's, to me, a flagship tentpole kind of a series for PlayStation, obviously. It could potentially, but we got to see where Hellblade 2 is going to go. I mean, it looks great in the front. I mean, what little bit we've seen, and like how much there's so many ways they can go with all that story too. So it could be. I honestly don't have I don't know.
Okay. All right. So would you agree?
I hope that was good enough.
Go ahead. So would you, before we move on to Fuzz and Centurion? So I want to throw this to you and sip it. Would you also agree, now if we move this game Ori to Nintendo and we talk about it being a flagship for Nintendo, do you think it fits better with Nintendo being a flagship?
Still, it fits better, but still no. Okay. There's something about the difficulty and the approachability of a cartoon-esque character versus the stylized animated version that they've got going. Mario is festive, it's exciting. Kirby is an approachable goofball. I mean, there's something about a Nintendo magic, and I think Ori taps into a different type of magic. It's just not the same thing. It would burden it with something that it's not.
Got it. Good point. All right. Understandable. So, Fuzz, it's on you, brother. So what do you think about Ori just going forward? What do you think about, obviously, it potentially being a tentpole? Can it be, even if you're looking at other platforms? I know we just talked about Nintendo. So piggybacking off of that, is it possible at all to get to that point?
Well, my train of thought was that if you did expand it into other types of genres, kind of like making it more like a Mario type character, it could possibly, but I don't know if Xbox really needs that to be a tentpole per se. It's just it would have to, I think it would have to do more than its current platformer to get into that realm. Like, I don't think it needs a cart game, Ori in the cart. No, I don't think we need anything along those lines, but that I think would possibly push it to that point, because now you have the appeal of of its original fan base, although I don't know how happy they would be if there was more of a Mario or Kirby style game that came out later in that same vein. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I almost wish, and not to knock Ori, I almost wish Cuphead was more of that tentpole, but that game I think has an even higher difficulty level to the point where I won't say it's appeals to less people, but I think it's probably turned off more people just because of breaking controllers, trying to get past levels type of thing. Not that Ori doesn't break controllers either, but I have a feeling that a lot less people have broken their controller playing Ori than Cuphead. But a tentpole, it'll definitely be in the highly regarded category for Xbox. But I don't know. I would like to see what other games they really push into that realm, whether it be a Recore or two. Although I really think that would need a different graphical
Overhaul,
pick or something
yeah.
like that for that to kind of get into that point. But Hellblade, I could see that one reaching into being a flagship tentpole type of game, but it's going to have to do a major job with 2, and then have, like everyone's saying, more of a story beyond 2.
Mhm.
Depending on where they take it, you can only go but so crazy and so deep in, I guess, history. Well, not really history, but like the lore to, until either she's killing off everybody or she already passed away, and this
Yeah.
is like her view on the other side type of thing. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think Hellblade would be a closer candidate at this
Got it.
point.
Okay. I think that the timing of this question is kind of because we've seen Ori 1 that's came and gone. It's kind of hard to ask the question now. I mean, I asked it obviously, but I think we have this already impression of the game, so it's hard to kind of see it outside of the vein that it's already in, or the game that we've already experienced essentially. So I do agree, Ori would be tough. A lot would have to change for it to get to that point, and I don't know if that would do the good. Do the game ultimately any good in the long run? It'd probably take more away from the game than intentional. But let's go ahead and go over to you. I left you for last, intern, on purpose because I know you just had a conversation with one of the developers from Moon Studio. So maybe you can give us some tidbits on their thought process and more about even pertaining to the question itself.
All right. Now I'm not trying to give the shameless plug, but there is an article coming out on lordsofgaming.net that actually pertains to this interview. It will also have a link to the TXR podcast where this interview took place. I got a chance to talk with Thomas Muller and do who's the game director for Ori and the Will of the Wisps. And on to the question, can it be a tentpole franchise? I don't think it can because of what I got from Thomas. That would require Microsoft to start making certain demands of a developer because of it being a tentpole franchise. It's something that is very important. So at that point, Microsoft would have to start making demands. One thing he talked about with Ori and the Will of the Wisps is at first he didn't want to do a sequel to The Blind Forest because he wanted to move on to the next big thing. He loves creating games and he doesn't want to spend too much time on one single game.
Mm-hmm.
So for him, what really won him over was how many fans wanted a second Ori game. So he thought, why not? It's a chance to improve the game. I hear Ghost over here and everybody talking about how difficult Ori was. Well, the funny part is the fighting system was one of the things that Thomas wanted to change. The first game, it was hit the button and it was a lot of auto targeting. Now he wants there to be a precision skill involved in the game. He wants it to be even more Metroidvania-like.
That's just for you, Ghost.
So,
oh boy, I'm not nervous at all.
But the cool thing is, he talked about how the game, he wants the game to revolve around a story that could be understood worldwide, no matter what language you speak. And the only way to do that is to get rid of language. We need great character emotions. We need a music that just blows everybody away and the ability to animate these emotions without speaking.
Wow.
And that was something he's very passionate about. And I think for a tentpole franchise, stuff like that is just going to fundamentally change the game so much because they're trying to establish it as a tentpole franchise, that I think Ori wouldn't be what Thomas originally created. I think it would be something totally different, and that would hurt the game.
Got it.
That's what makes Ori so great. Is it's a very beautifully done game. It shows passion from somebody who actually knows gaming. He actually admitted to the fact that he loves playing games from software.
Nice.
As soon as he said I play games from software, I was like, wow. So you've really played around with some games that are difficult. Yeah. So you know about pushing that difficulty. But yeah, just it was. I don't see how it could be a tentpole franchise. In my mind, tentpole franchises need to happen naturally.
Got it.
Like with Halo, Gears of War, Forza, those were titles that actually happened naturally. People wanted another one and another one and another one, and eventually you got an established tentpole franchise. I feel like trying to force something like that creates a situation where it could feel forced, and people don't like feeling forced, and at that point, that's when they'll just shut it down.
Got it. So a lot of variables there. Now, obviously, we're asking a question in a vacuum. There's a lot of stuff outside of that would have to go into having this conversation about if Ori could do it or not. Maybe some changes here or there. It may be possible, but at this particular point in time, I think all of us agree here that it may be more detrimental to make those type of changes necessary for it to be a flagship franchise, and that takes away from what Ori is great at. What's great about Ori. So I think we're gonna wrap it up there. But I will once again, just to wrap everything up here, I do have to announce the winner of the $50 Xbox Live gift card. No, definitely not Stag. So
I know.
Well, he texted me last night and said that I was supposed to act surprised.
You too? God damn it.
You guys got catfish. That wasn't me. That was somebody else. But anyway, so I'm going to announce what's going to happen is when I announce the winner, I'm going to email the winner because I have everybody's email that actually entered into the actual contest. So I'm going to email the winner. They'll have 24 hours to actually contact me back and say, hey, it's me, whatever the case may be, or just reply back. If they don't reply back, I'm going to re-pick from the entries that we already have as of today. Okay, so the winner is, and I'm going to say his name. Hopefully he's watching or going to watch later. It's Manuel Oliva. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to email this person. And if they don't hit me back within 24 hours, I will redraw and pick somebody new. So you guys may actually have a chance to win. So Manuel, if you're listening, if anybody watching knows him, hit him up. Let him know he won the contest. I'm going to email him anyway. So I'll go ahead and get that email out right now. But once again, I just want to let you guys know the reason I did that is because I just want to show some appreciation for you guys here being on the podcast. 2020 has been a huge year for us already. The show is growing, and I just want to do something to give back. Now, I'm not a big giveaway kind of guy, but I do want to do it every so often just to show you guys appreciation. So thank you guys for that. I will announce if he doesn't hit me back, I will let you guys know for sure within 24 hours, and we'll get it all figured out and I'll redraw. So, Manuel, shout out to you for taking, part as far as the contest, and hopefully you hit me back here in a couple hours and let me know so I can get you your information, brother. But either way, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. You guys have been freaking amazing. Awesome show, same time, same place. I will go around the panel. We're going to start with our special guest here, and I want to say something before you dive in and sit, but I greatly appreciate you once again taking some time out, hanging out with us. I hope you had a good time on the show, and you now have an open invitation. So you may get a random DM from me at any point in time saying, hey, if you're not busy, can you come on the show? Because I really, you're an awesome person, awesome individual. You're a teacher on top of that, an educator. You're well-spoken. You know a lot about video games, and I greatly appreciate you adding to what we already do here on the show. So let everybody know, watching live, where they can find you, where you're going to be at, what you got cooking up.
Man, thank you for that, because coming on was an absolute joy. You guys have an amazing community, and there is no doubt about that. I am impressed every single week. And real talk, if any of that amazing community is willing to go check out the Xbox Expansion Pass, it's a podcast I take a lot of pride in. I do it solo every week, which brings its own level of joy and excitement and nervousness. And so to have people check out the show would mean the absolute world. You can find it on all podcast services. Again, it's the Xbox Expansion Pass. And I will take you up on that offer anytime you deliver it, man. I would love to be back on. You guys have a great great community, man. It was a blast tonight. Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. Once again, brother, you add so much to the show, and I'm glad I reached out, man. It seems to always work out this way, and I greatly appreciate you. So everybody, do me a favor. I put all of his information down in the description. Please go click the link. There's a link, and you'll be able to. Well, you click the link, you'll be able to find everywhere the podcast is at. iTunes,
A
Spotify.
link to a link.
Yeah. So whatever the case may be, click the link. Do that, and you'll be able to figure it out from there. But either way, I appreciate you so much, man, for coming on. Check out his content, guys. He has amazing stuff, and you will not be disappointed, I promise. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Stag. Mr. Rilla, what's going on with you? Are you going to be here next week, brother?
I don't know. I've checked my schedule.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see.
I think I am.
Stag. You
Hold
should
on.
be, but either way.
I don't have anything going on for like a month.
Got to check the Rolodex. You never know with Stag. But either way, Stag, you coming on this week, man. Appreciate you. But let everybody know what's going on, brother. Where they can find you at.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still doing the streaming thing. I'm mainly on Twitch. I changed my schedule to 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, 9:30 in the morning until roughly around noon. But my graphics card's dying on my computer. And luckily, it's under warranty. I have to mail it back Monday, and they got to send me a new one, blah, blah, blah. So I'll probably be down for a week or two. I might actually steal my laptop back from my child and stream that way. I don't know, but a break does sound kind of good. So it's like one hand, the other. Like, which do I do? Like, do I take a break or do I disappoint my child? I kind of like both options. But is great guest tonight. It was really cool to meet you, dude. Tonight I am doing... I'm not looking forward to this, but everybody's been asking me to do this for a while. When I first started streaming, I did Scare Stagger Saturday nights, and I started with Resident Evil 7 and scared the shit out of me, and then I played Home Sweet Home, and recently Blowfish Studios, I want to curse them for this, sent me their new game, Infliction, and I will be playing that tonight at 7 o'clock. I think I'll be on Mixer, to be honest with you. So, yeah, if you want to watch a grown-ass, bearded, tattooed man fucking jump and get scared and scream like a girl, 7:30 tonight, I will be doing that.
Nice.
So.
Go check him out. Go check him out. Had that bottle of wine with you.
The anxiety levels I've been having since I watched trailers for that game has been through the freaking roof. The trailer made me jump out of my chair.
You're going to put yourself through that. It's ridiculous.
I'm probably going to have a heart attack tonight, but hey, it's all about them viewers, man.
For the people. Got to get those numbers. Heart attack and all. Either way, man, I appreciate you so much, Stag. Glad you're back on this week, man. We did miss you last week, man. Always adding so much to the show. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you. Centurion, let everybody know what's going on. I know you put out the video recently. When we get another video, essentially the next video, when we get in that.
I'm working on one this weekend already.
Nice.
And I really want to say, PTK, I feel so honored and privileged to be in the presence of Staggerilla. Seeing that he put that,
I feel honored to be in my own presence.
he put down the silver spoon and came down out of his castle to podcast with us.
Us peasants.
Us peasants. Oh my God. Anyways, for those who want to find me on social media, you can find me on Xbox Live, YouTube, and Twitter at Centurion1307. I also get to kick it here every Saturday with these great guys on the Shop Podcast. I also do the TXR podcast on Sundays and Saltiest Gaming podcast on Thursdays.
Nice. So check them out there, guys. Once again, all of our Twitter information is down in the descriptions as well as Insipid, so follow us there. We typically use Twitter as like a hub for all of our social media. Go there, follow them. You'll be able to keep up there. So I appreciate you as well, Centurion, every single week, being extremely consistent. Thank you so much, brother. And last but not least...
What words did I invent now, Stag? Sorry,
just go on.
Last but not least, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere, man. What's going on with you, Fuzz? Let everybody know what's cooking up, man.
Not doing much right now, but yeah, I'm probably going to be hopping on later on tonight and playing some Division 2. Glad to be on here with Insipid as well as with Stag and Centurion and you, Blam. Always good to talk some games and just hang out. So yeah, it's been awesome.
Awesome.
You can always find me on Twitter, Fuzzy_Belvedere, or on Xbox Live, Fuzzy_Belvedere, and I finally hooked my PlayStation back up. Also, Fuzzy_Belvedere. I usually only play GT Sport on that, so I don't know. But other than that, it's always good.
All right. Well, last but not least, your boy Ptk Bl4m. If you want to hit me on Xbox Live, catch me there. Once again, my Twitter information is down in the description below the video. You guys are freaking amazing. Thank you guys for coming out and supporting the show every single week. Once again, big shout out to our special guest and Sip It. You guys, please, I'm telling you, do yourself a favor. Go check his content out. I'm highly endorsing the content, so please go check it out. Puts on a great show, super unbiased, super knowledgeable. That's exactly what we like here on the Shop Podcast, man. So go check him out. Appreciate him coming on again today, and you guys as well, showing up live, showing out every single week. Another guest next week, same time, same damn place. So appreciate you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Peace out. See you guys next week. We are out of here. Bye, everybody.
Later.